Have you ever asked yourself, does he really love me or is he just pretending? And if he really is just pretending, how do I spot it before I give my everything to this man? That's exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing 10 things a man won't do if he really loves you. That way you can stop yourself from over-investing into a man who doesn't love and care for you nearly as much as you love and care for him. Point number one is about disrespect. I'm going to talk about something very specific that might trigger a bunch of you because you might have been in this situation before. If a man truly loves you, his feeling that he needs to protect and provide for you is going to come within him naturally. Now, we're going to emphasize for this key point, the protect part. Now, not just being protective over you as it relates to like another man attacking you. I'm talking also about being protective over your emotions and over people attacking you emotionally. For example, you meet his mom or his best friend. And in the process of you meeting them, they begin talking down on you, berating you with insults, insulting you to your face, insulting you and insulting his relationship with you, right? And some of you might be thinking, wow, does that really happen? It does happen. And especially with family members, it can be very difficult because they can feel, the guy can feel like, oh, it might not be my place to step in and say something, even though clearly my partner, my woman, is being disrespected right in front of my face. So let me let you in on a little bit of secret. When a man really loves you, he will not have a problem checking and stepping in the middle here and checking whether it be his mother, his father, his best friend, his cousin, whoever it is that is disrespecting you or disrespecting your relationship in front of him. Because when he cares about you and he cares about your needs and he cares about your happiness and he's seeing someone overtly disrespect you and he's seeing the fact that you're unhappy or you're upset or you're saddened by the way that someone is speaking to you or approaching you, he's going to step in no matter who it is, because as his wife or as his future wife or his current girlfriend, his number one priority in terms of who he's trying to make happy, even before his own mother and even before his best friend, will be you. For point number two, we're going to discuss threats. The reason I'm drawing this kind of like ventriloquist, you got the threats here and you got the string on the heart, is because this is an element of control that people will use, men will use when they're trying to manipulate you, not because they actually care and love for you, even though in the way that they'll threaten you, it'll sound like they're threatening you because of how much they love you, but it's not that. Let me explain and give you an example. An example of a threat used to control is, hey, you're upset. You don't like how things are going in this relationship. You're ready to walk away. I can feel that you're ready to walk away. I'm not going to let you walk away. You want to hear something crazy that's going to knock your socks off? If you break up with me, this is where the threat comes in. If you dare to walk away and not speak to me and have standards and stand up for yourself and have self-respect, I will unalive myself. And this is how they'll paint it. I'm going to go to that bridge. You know the bridge I'm talking about in the city. I'm going to go to that bridge. I'm literally going to stand on the edge and I'm going to jump off of that bridge because I can't bear the idea of not being with you, not being in a relationship with you. My life cannot continue unless I'm with you and we're in a relationship. So if you think you're going to walk away from me, you're not. And this is how the threat kind of sounds like it's actually love, but it's not. They'll say, I love you so much, I literally don't want to live life unless you're with me. So if you're not with me, I'm unaliving myself. It's done for me. They'll say this, I have nothing else to live for. And so as they're describing that way, you might think to yourself, oh, he really loves me, because the way that he's talking about how literally he can't be on this earth unless he's with me must come from a place of love, but it really doesn't. It's actually the complete opposite. The threat is coming as a way to control you and control your emotions, because they understand if they can tug at your heartstrings, right, with these threats, and make them sound in a way that they know is going to affect you emotionally, that will give them the best opportunity to get the type of control they want over you. Even though it feels like you're making a decision to continue being with that guy, you're really not. Because if you had your own way, you would not be with that guy. For point number three, we're going to discuss emotions. When men get into relationships with women, mature men, they understand that part of being with a woman means that some of the things she wants, some of the things she desires, some of the ways she acts and thinks and speaks and approaches life will be different from how I approach life as a woman. That's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a great thing, because the way that she'll contrast me will be perfect for my growth and her growth, that we can grow together and be one whole that is much better than our just individual pieces, okay? Now, the reason that I'm talking about this and discussing this is something that you may have encountered in your relationships with men is that he'll care about certain things that are important to him: making money, buying a nice car, living in a big house, all of those great things. Then there's things that you care about as a woman because those are more important to you, right? Your emotions might be heightened in certain areas because you're just a more emotional being. Nothing wrong with that. And one of the things that some men will do when they're showing you that they don't really love you is, let's say you come back from work and you're like really stressed out and overwhelmed with work because you've had so much on your plate. There's this coworker that you hate. Your boss is giving you a bunch of projects that you know you can't finish on time. And it's just really getting and weighing in on your mental. So you come home and you're crying and you just want some nice cuddles and you just want him to spend some time with you. And when you get home, he's playing video games. And when he's playing video games, you're like, please, can we just have a moment together? I just want to talk to you. I just want to lay down with you because I've had a rough day. And he's like, come on, you're being overly dramatic about this. Why are you such a drama queen? It's just a bad day at work. You go back, you make money. Who cares about your boss? Who cares about your coworker? Why are you crying? You don't need to cry. This is so annoying. Oh my God, I hate this, right? These are the type of things that you got to be looking out for, that you got to be spotting if you're trying to determine if this guy really loves you or if he's just kind of pretending about it. Because emotions should never be a burden to a man, because he's supposed to come into a relationship, if he's a mature man, with the understanding that you as a woman are going to have emotions. And sometimes the things that you care about, sometimes the things that make you emotional, sometimes the things that upset you might not be the things that he cares about or would get emotional about or would upset him, but that's okay. They don't need to be the same things. And when a man really loves you, he embraces the fact that you feel things. He embraces the fact that you have emotions. He embraces the fact that you think and approach life differently than him. So for point number 4, we're going to discuss time. Now, one of the things that I want you to be paying attention to, because it's hard to accept, and this is one of those that I see all the time when I answer your private questions, and you guys send me in personal questions about your situation, that always becomes confusing, that I want to let you in on this secret so you're not confused anymore. Anytime you're with a guy and you find yourself struggling in the relationship because the amount of time you want to spend with him is not nearly at the same frequency as the amount of time he seems to want to spend with you, then you're at an imbalance that tells you exactly where you're really at in the relationship and exactly where he's at mentally. Let me give you an example of that. Let's say you've been seeing a guy for the past 4 months and you're like, damn, I see this guy once every 2 weeks we go on a date, if that. And I find myself struggling because I really want to see him more than that. Like so much more, to the point where like I feel like we should be seeing each other damn near every other day, which I wouldn't advise. But let's just say you feel like that's how much you would want to see him. And he seems like anytime you guys hang out, it only really comes at your suggestion or you have to hint at it a bunch of times. And even then, the amount and the frequency at which you're hanging out, 2 weeks is way too long in between for you guys to spend time together, right? So the reason I give this example is because one of the things that men won't do when they really love you is they won't make you feel like the frequency at which they want to see you, right, is so imbalanced to the frequency that you want to see them that you end up thinking to yourself, like, maybe I should be the one suggesting we hang out here or do this week or go here or spend some more time, right? As soon as you find yourself doing that, that imbalance tells you exactly how he really feels about you. Because when a man really loves you, really cares for you, you actually are the one in the situation where you're telling him, okay, chill. I know you like to see me. I know you like to spend time with me, but I've got this to do. I can't hang out every day. I can't, do things with you every single day or every other day. I've got some things to do here. I've got some things to do there. We need to take a chill pill. You need to take a chill pill because I have other things in my life going on, right? That is actually the scenario that you should be finding yourself in if a guy truly loves you and cares about you, right? That's why I drew this kind of weight scale, where the man lead, as it relates to, I should even put here, so you guys aren't confused, whether you want to call it hangouts or whether you want to call it dates, right? The man lead in the sense that he is having the desire to see you, the desire to spend time with you is much more on his end, right? Heavy on his end than it is on yours. If you find yourself emotionally that you think to yourself, if I were to put this on a balance here, I feel like it's actually me in this position where my desire to see him and the frequency at which I want to see him way outweighs his desire to see me and his frequency at which he would want to see me, then you already know you're in the wrong relationship with the wrong man. Because chances are the guy you're with doesn't actually love you or care for you the way that you're imagining that he does. So point number 5 is about selfishness. Now, one of the things that men won't do when they really love you is they won't make every situation in the relationship about themselves, because there should be a natural feeling within him as a man that happy wife, happy life. I am here as a man to serve my woman and make sure that at all times she feels comfortable, she feels safe, she's happy, she's satisfied with the relationship that we're in. And so much so that as a man, I will sacrifice my happiness, I will sacrifice my needs, I'll sacrifice my own comfortability just so that my woman can be satisfied. Now, the reason I drew kind of a spotlight here is because there's different ways in which you'll be able to easily spot when you're with a man who has this level of selfishness in the relationship, where they're thinking so much about themselves that they literally neglect your own happiness, and they don't even sometimes notice that you're unhappy. That's how much of a spotlight they have on themselves and their own happiness in their own mind and in their own spirit. Let me give you a couple of examples of that. And you're not going to like some of these because some of these are going to be kind of traumatizing for you. An example of that would be in your love life, in your intimacy life with that guy, and you find yourself very dissatisfied, to say the least, with the way that intimacy is going. Because yes, you like to please him, you like to give him pleasure, but you find that after you give him pleasure, there's literally nothing left for you. In the sense that, like, he doesn't seem to have the same attentiveness, the same attention to detail, the same care about whether or not you're being pleased, whether or not you're satisfied, whether or not you're enjoying your love life, your sex life, your intimacy together. And it gets to the point where you're starting to question, does this man not know that I'm actually never having, or I should say, I'm never getting there? I'm never climaxing? I'm never getting what I need? I'm never satisfied? Or does he just not care? Right? This is a perfect example of the type of selfishness that will arise in a relationship when a man is only thinking about himself, only thinking about his own pleasure. Outside of the bedroom, another example of that would be when it comes to your date or the things that you guys do together. He's only interested in doing things together that consist of things that he loves to do, and never willing to step into your world or even caring about what your world consists of in the things that you find interesting. Let's say, for the sake of example, he's like, yeah, we can play video games together. We can go watch a football game together, even though you hate football and don't understand it, right? Even though you hate video games and you don't get them. But when it comes to going to the opera house or gardening or going to a pottery class, he's super uninterested, to the point where he's like, no, I'm not going to that. Literally, even if you beg me, even if you ask me a million times, I'm not going to your stupid pottery class. I'm not going out to garden with you. That's so boring. That's so unnecessary. I'm not doing the things that you would enjoy because I'm not willing to sacrifice my happiness just so you can be happy around me. Okay? And trust me, that happens a lot more than you're imagining, especially when you get into the cycle of wanting to please a man, wanting him to be happy, because obviously he's your man, and your natural nature as a woman is to feel like, I want to serve my man, I want him to be in a good mood, I want him to be satisfied and happy. You can get so deep into that place mentally that you forget your happiness also matters, and you can actually forget that your happiness is actually being neglected because he himself is only focused on his own happiness as well. Point number 6 is about comparison. One of the things that a man won't do if he really loves you is he won't constantly compare you, one, to standards that are very unrealistic, but even just in general, to women that are always going to make you feel worse about yourself, right? Because if a guy really loves you, then his true and honest focus is on you, not that he can't see or find other women attractive, because that's not realistic, but in the sense that when he loves you and truly is invested in you in this relationship, his attraction is so heavy and deep for you that he doesn't bother comparing your attractiveness to someone else's, because the unique traits about you, the unique look of you, is what he embraces, what he loves, and what he appreciates, okay? So let's say, for the sake of example, let's say every time one of these IG baddies walks by, anytime one of these IG baddies is on the TV, anytime one of these IG baddies, you see them at the club, he's always making a comment. Damn, her butt like a basketball. Your butt's not nearly that big. Hey, I don't think you could ever, even if you got a BBL, your BBL would definitely not look like her BBL. Damn, she got that hair going down to her crack. You could never grow hair like that. That's crazy. I don't think you could grow no hair like that, right? And this constant comparison is, one, it's going to eat away at your ego. It's also going to eat away at your self-esteem. But it's a perfect example of how he really feels about you. Because even if a guy had a thought, oh, that woman is attractive, one, he's never going to say that if he's a smart man. And number two, he also will embrace the fact that the woman I'm with is attractive. The woman I'm with not only is attractive, but she brings so many other things to the table that are so valuable that I would never in a million years say that because I think another woman is also attractive, that she's somehow better or even in the same league as my woman who I've been investing time and energy into, and who's been investing time and energy into me. For point number 7, we're going to talk about shaming, because one of the things guys won't do if they really love you, and if they're doing it, you know, he doesn't really love you, is they won't shame you for having standards. This is one that I know a lot of you struggle with, because when you're in a relationship with a guy or you're dating a guy, you can start to build up this irrational fear that, well, if I have too many standards or I have all these rules, maybe he might say, F your rules. Why do you have all these standards, all these things that a guy can't do and has to do? You know what? I don't have time for that. I'm just going to give up on this. I'm not interested anymore because you got too many standards, too many rules. That irrational fear that might come within you as you're dating and seeing a guy is self-sabotage. Because if we actually break it down, if you are a valuable woman, a high value woman, as the kids like to say, okay? A woman that is very desirable amongst a lot of men, then it actually makes a lot of sense that your standards would be in line with the value that you have as a woman. Let me give you a perfect example of why that is true, if you're ever questioning that. Let's say, and I want to ask all of you, so you put yourself in a man's shoes here for a second, okay? I want you guys to all participate. If you were a man, okay, hypothetically, okay, so today you're a man, and let's say the type of man you are sloppy, you are disgusting, you don't take care of yourself, you don't shave anywhere on your body, okay? You dress like garbage, all right? Your teeth are murked, you know, all crooked, you never brush them, your tongue is white, okay? You look like a mess, all right? Let's say that's you as a man. And let's say you're standing at a party looking like a mess, no deodorant, BO stinking up the joint, and a beautiful IG baddie comes up to you. Oh my gosh, hair flowing, she looks amazing, okay? Booty out of this world, okay? She's wearing these jeans, you're like, oh my God, how'd you even get those jeans on? You look amazing, okay? Busty all over, curvy, amazing. You've never seen a woman this gorgeous in your life, not even on Instagram, okay? That woman, you're a man today, that woman comes up to you and she says, oh my gosh, you're so handsome. I want to be your girlfriend. Can I be your wife? Can we go out on a date? I would love to date you. You're the type of man I would love to date. And you're a man today, and you're looking disgusting, and you have no game whatsoever, nothing going for you whatsoever. Now, in that scenario where that baddie comes up to you and asks to be your girlfriend and asks to go out on a date, tell me, would you be, as a man, would you be suspicious of that? Or would you think to yourself, oh, this is perfectly normal. This is normal. This is a normal day. Of course I'm disgusting. And the beautiful, amazing, super attractive woman wants to date me and wants to be my girlfriend. The reason that I ask this question, even though it sounds silly and very obvious, is because it actually speaks to the idea that you understand, and also men understand on a subconscious level, that if a woman has value, her standards should also represent the level of value she has as a woman. Because a woman who's super attractive, super desirable, who looks the part, dresses the part, looks like she has it together, the things that men would desire and want, should not be going up to a guy who looks disgusting, who has nothing going for him, who looks sloppy with his hair messed up and his teeth messed up and his skin nasty, no money, nothing going for himself. She should not be even giving that type of guy this time of day to even acknowledge his presence, let alone go up to him and ask him to go on a date. And the reason that a lot of you are saying, if I was a guy, I would be suspicious of a girl who did that, is because you also understand that women are supposed to have the type of standards that represent the type of woman that they are. Meaning if you're a woman who's super valuable, super desirable, you're supposed to have standards that only the top 1% of men can meet. Vice versa, if you're a less desirable woman, nobody wants you, then you're also subconsciously equating that to, that means you should have less standards, and more men should be able to access you because your standards are so low. So why do I say all of that, and why is that important to our point here for shaming? When a man doesn't love you, he's going to shame you for having standards, because in his mind, right, standards are a barrier to entry for him. If he feels in his own mind, I'm not here to actually build with you, I'm not here because I actually love you, I'm not here because I even really like you, I'm here to use you for my own pleasure, to take advantage of you, whether it be as a placeholder, to get what I want from you, to get girlfriend treatment for a little bit of time, to get over my ex, whatever the case may be, right? And he knows that subconsciously, your standards will always be a barrier to him. It will be something that gets in his way from accomplishing what he wants to accomplish. Whereas if you have standards and you are a woman of value and you're a woman of self-respect, your standards and the fact that you have value as a woman and you know what you bring to the table because you actually bring things to the table will equal themselves out, and it'll actually make a lot of sense, because if I'm a man and I want you and I desire you and a lot of other men desire you, your standards are going to make it so that a lot of men aren't going to pass that filter, right? That threshold that has to be met. Only a few very good, very talented, very amazing men will be able to meet those standards to be able to date you, because they all want to date you. For point number 8, we're going to talk about hurting, because one of the things that can be very obvious but not feel as obvious when you're in the relationship with the guy is a guy that will hurt you over and over again in the same way that he actually is very aware hurts you. He's aware of what it does to you, but he really can't be bothered to change the behavior. I gave an example of that in the example of a guy cheating on you. You find out about it because he's definitely not going to tell you about it. And when you find out about it, you choose to forgive him because you have a soft place in your heart for him and you're making exceptions for him, which I never advise you to, but you forgive him. And then you choose to move on, or at least try to move forward from it. And then he cheats on you again. Okay? In pretty much the same situation. Let's say, for the sake of example, he cheated on you with a coworker. And he cheats on you again with a different coworker now this time. You find out again. And it's basically like going in circles because the situation is very similar. And let's say that first time that this happened and you found out, you guys had extensive conversation about it. You told him about how much it hurt you. You told him about how it affected you emotionally. You told him about how you felt like nothing. You felt like trash afterwards. You guys went through the process of trying to move forward from it and talking about it and getting to an understanding of it. And he just ended up doing it again. Now, obviously, this is an extreme example. And some of you are saying, I would never forgive a guy and let him cheat on me multiple times. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I want you to recognize this pattern and be honest with yourself about what it really means. Because when a guy tries to tell you, oh, I love you so much, I care about you so much, I want the best for this relationship, I really want to be here, and then he hurts you, nothing wrong with making a mistake. Let me be clear about that. People are allowed to make mistakes. But for someone to make a mistake and then understand what it did to you emotionally, how it destroyed you, and then continue on to make the same mistake again, not only is that reckless, but it just shows they don't actually care, okay? And don't let someone recover and try to pretend like they actually care when they make a mistake like this that is literally showing you they don't actually care, okay? In fact, in some ways, the people that will do this type of stuff to you actually secretly hate you, okay? Secretly despise you, even though they're with you. It sounds very weird. That's a discussion for another day. But this happens. And I want you to be aware of why this is happening. A guy cannot love you if he's willing to hurt you in the exact same way over and over again, especially when he knows what it does to you. Point number 9, we're gonna talk about insecurities. If you're with a guy and you have discussions with him, vulnerable discussions with him about insecurities of yours on your body, about your life, just about you in general, that's not uncommon because obviously you're going to get vulnerable with a guy that you're being in a romantic relationship with. Here's something to take note of. If a guy loves you, one very important thing he will not do is he will not hear those insecurities that you're saying make you really insecure about yourself and then proceed to tease you or make fun of you about those things in which you confided in him by telling him, hey, I'm really insecure about this. This is something that really has been bothering me since I was a young child, right, about myself. And then could proceed to use that information to then make you feel bad about yourself. So I'll give you an example of that, and it's kind of obvious what the example is here, right? In the sense that, let's say you're really insecure about your nose, right? You have a really misshapen nose, okay? Maybe your nose has a crazy bridge in it, or it's crooked, or whatever the case may be, right? It's really big. And you're really insecure about that, and you tell him, you confide in him in conversation with him that, look, I'm really insecure about my nose. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the size of it. And when people make fun of it, or when people are staring at me, sometimes I get subconscious about it. And that's what you tell him. And then he proceeds to say, oh, let's say a couple of days go by or something happens and he's teasing you and he's like, oh yeah, that's funny. I had to change that picture. Couldn't pick that picture because your nose looks huge in that one. Or yeah, we definitely don't want to get your side profile because if we get your side profile, then they're going to see how crazy your nose sticks out or whatever the case may be, right? This might seem a little bit harmless, but there's a deeper meaning to it, right? Because he's taking an insecurity that he has received from you, that you've been vulnerable with him about, and then he's using that to actually hurt your feelings, okay? And this is very bad because when a guy actually loves you, he doesn't want to take those deep-rooted insecurities and use them to hurt you. Because especially when they're insecurities that when people tease you about it, it's not just teasing you because of how much you care about it and because of how important it is to you. When a guy actually loves you and cares about you, he understands how delicate and sensitive those particular insecurities can be. So if he's gonna tease you and make fun of you and have fun with you, he'll tease you about something that you're not so insecure about, okay? So in this scenario, he'll tease you about your hair or tease you about maybe your nails broken, your nails aren't done, tease you about something like that, as opposed to teasing you about the one thing that when he teases you about it, you might actually cry. For point number 10, we're gonna talk about challenges because something that can happen if you're in a relationship with a guy, and I want you to recognize because it's a sign that he doesn't actually love you. You might be in a situation where you're going through something traumatic. Let's say, for the sake of example, you lost your job, or you're going through a family situation that really is weighing on your mental. As you're going through this, you have discussion with him about what's going on in your life and the pressure that it's putting on you and how it's weighing on you. When this begins to happen, if a man really cares about you, these are the moments in which he's going to try harder to be there for you, to check in on you, to make sure you're good, to try and, make sure you're happy. Oh, let's go out for ice cream. I know you love ice cream. Do the smallest things to try and cheer you up and take some of that weight off of your shoulders and off of your mind. Sometimes though, you'll be with a guy, and when these challenges present themselves in your life, okay, he will actually do the opposite, which is distance himself away from you. Stop talking to you. Stop being there for you. Almost seem like he really is disinterested in dealing with you when you're going through these mental situations or these situations that are weighing heavily on you. You want to know the real deep-rooted reason why some guys will do this? Because subconsciously, they understand that when you're in this mental state where, I have a family situation that's weighing on me, I have work now, I have this, I have that, they know deep down in their mind, you can't really serve me right now. You're probably going to be less enthusiastic around me. You're not going to be able to sleep with me the same way that I want you to sleep with me. You're just going to want to like cuddle and, sit there and, cry on my shoulder. But like, what am I going to get from that? And so the reason they kind of disappear on you, if they don't love you, is because they understand that during this time, they're not really going to be able to extract a lot of value from you, because they're going to have to be more of your support during this time. Now, if a guy loves you, this is not a problem. He's here to build with you, so he's obviously here to support you, especially when you're going through things. But as you're going through challenges, if a guy doesn't love you, the idea that he's going to now support you, especially when at this period or this time, for this time frame, he's not really going to be receiving a lot of support from you or a lot of value from you, like sex or like girlfriend treatment or whatever the case may be, because of these challenges that you're facing, well, then you lose a lot of your luster to a guy who's not in love with you, because now he can't really extract from you any longer. And as crazy as that sounds, it does happen, and it's a clear sign that he really doesn't love you the way that you're thinking and imagining that he does. Because if he did, obviously, he would be there for you and support you during this time.